Can't get rid of me, hey, 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 hey. I run the underground like a fucking marathon. I go to sleep in the hard head to the job done. These niggas only put in work when it seem fun. But to be a boss, you gotta have boss growth some. Why should I stunt hard for a bunch of fronters when most of y'all never seen money? Stevie Wonder, to fix the mesh I made, I'ma need more than a plunger. And
making whole scene is sinking. Big dog, about to bring the motherfucking pain. Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in.
Let's go. Welcome back. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is part 4 of a very extensive series that was unintentional. That just happened to be something that I felt like needed to be, talked about. So I dedicated the time. And without trying to fatigue out to death, I guess it was just best for me just to break it up. You know what I mean? So far, we've covered 2 specific type of traumas: acute trauma and chronic trauma. And if you ask me, those are the 2 normal ones that have, because they're classified in ways that I've talked about last episode. If you want to know, or you have your own way of getting information, you look into that. Just look up acute trauma and chronic trauma. And like I said, we talked about those prior. We talked about forms of neglect last episode. We talked about, how seeing your parents or whomever raised you, all the arguing and, all the things that turn potentially domestic or the verbal abuse, how those things can affect you as a child, and you don't understand the depths of what that really did to you until you become an adult. We talked about, how certain forms of, when you're a certain type of parent, can also affect a child as it grows and matures, and it acknowledges the lack thereof as far as presence, attention, the time, and all those things that come with, good parental skills, and how that affects a child as it navigates its way to maturity and adulthood. These are all the things that sometimes we put in the back of our minds and don't think are issues because they're so suppressed, because we've normalized chaos in a lot of sense. A lot of us have normalized chaos. A lot of us have normalized domestic situations, verbal abuse, and physical abuse, any type of drug abuse. The unpacking starts now, right? The unpacking starts now. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. I am Mickey J, the analyst. To all those that don't know, who just happened to hop in and, haven't seen me up until this point, I'm Mickey J, the analyst. I am your host. This is the Gangsta and Gentleman Podcast. This is part 4 of Restraint. Come on, man. You know I had to give you at least one. So, last episode I left off on a term. Disassociation, right? It's a term that a lot of us should have been more familiar with. We should have been more disassociated with a lot of things that we engaged or obliged in. For instance, if you know you were raised a certain way and, or in a certain environment, you've seen the effects of what drugs do, what people do when they get on drugs, and what they were willing to do for money, and how powerful money is to somebody who doesn't have it, even if drugs aren't involved. Those three things alone, that's universal.
Facts.
Right? Drugs and money always ran synonymous, regardless of where you from or what you do or whatever. There's power in each of those.
Shit like that.
What we aren't taught all the time is, before I continue, because I know it's irking me, and so I know it's irking you.
Here we go again.
If you are talking about my hat, right? Let's go ahead and put it on the table. I'm a fair guy. I'm in on the joke. Had a little situation. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, my hat looks like Terry Crews' head.
Oh shit!
No disrespect to T. Crews. Right? Wrinkled up. I don't know what happened in the midst of the foolishness, but I'm definitely creased and unleashed. But guess what? You see what we're doing right now. We're trying to merch it. I just hate we out here with the aggression of a bald guy head on my head. I don't like it. I just thought I should say something about it, because I know somebody's like, oh, what's going on with boy hat? Relax. Just listen to the words this head can't talk.
I don't remember asking you a damn thing.
Thought I put her, I get it. Face ass. Right. Disassociation, when it came to certain environments, is something that it doesn't seem necessary when you're young, right? When you're young, being around people who freely have access to drugs and alcohol and feel like they have freedom is always something that a young teen is going to be interested in if they have access to that, right? Little do they know, the moment you engage into certain acts in a world that you're not familiar with, you become a sheep. And little do you know how many wolves are really circling you, ready to feast on you. Let me explain. When you come into certain scenarios or certain worlds and you're trying to fit in, or you're trying to be part of what you think is a popular crowd, or you're trying to be looked at as more mature or grown than what you are, you put yourself at risk. You put yourself at risk of being used. You put yourself at risk of being potentially physically abused. You put yourself at risk of being financially manipulated. And you put yourself at risk of being somebody's fall guy. Right? And if you have certain family members who have been through this, a lot of people won't talk about how certain environments mess them up.
Shit like that.
Because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you got to tell people how stupid you were and how you got finessed and how gullible you were and how you got finagled out of all your precious whatevers. Might even lost your significant other to one of these people in the process. They might have turned you into one of them and made you become somebody who you were unrecognizable to yourself because you done started doing drugs, you done started manipulating, you done started lying, you done started backstabbing, you done started doing all the things that consist of this environment. So at this point, you've lost touch with who you are, trying to fit in with somebody or a group of people who you might think is everything, but is nothing to anybody else. All because you didn't have the proper direction by people to tell you, say, man, a lot of shit that's going on here, you can do anywhere. But just wait till you're at a certain age where people who really will protect you will do just that if you choose to experiment. Because little do a lot of y'all know who put yourselves in a lot of these stupid positions, y'all did have cool family members who were cool with you doing certain things long as you was around them so they can monitor how far it goes and how you react to it. So they can tell you this ain't for you. You might throw your life away doing this just based off your behavior. And you could have learned from it just that fast. You could have learned the whole lifetime lesson in 1 week if you had the right people in your corner who you trusted and who you really invested real loyalty with to be real with you about. Listen, I know you think it's cool, I know you think it's fun, but that's not for you. Based off what I just witnessed you do and how you acted and how people gonna get off on you. They gonna get off on you and they gonna make you look stupid in the end. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have those conversations. So disassociating would have really saved a lot of y'all trauma. A lot of y'all went out here and got these records that y'all got. A lot of y'all wouldn't have had to feel like you got to be so physical about proving yourself about certain things. Or ain't nobody gonna play with my name, or everybody know what I'm about. A lot of these environments and situations turn a lot of y'all into monsters.
Shit like that.
Because from the moment you stepped in certain circles, you've been proving yourself. It still on current day to a name that only is respected amongst this particular group of people who probably talk about you, who probably look at you some type of way, who probably all have had something negative to say towards you, about you, or have intent to be just that if they see you get above them in life. Sometimes the safest people to be around is the people who raised you. And I know a lot of times, those people might not be shit. Depending on your family. But at least you know exactly what you get with certain people.
Message.
I don't care how messed up your family is. It's better to know who you're dealing with than to go out here and experiment in other people's circles and groups and be the butt of their jokes and be the fool who they portray as their personal clown and entertainment and not know it. So that's when it hurts the most. When you go out here and you portray yourself as something that everybody doesn't really accept you as, but makes you believe it when you come around. Take that as it may. See, a lot of y'all got false image based off how much people could use you. You got false entitlement to certain environments based off a name people could use tied to you. You got false access to certain things that people talked about you as a leech when you left.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
You get what I'm saying? Oh yeah, such and such, you cool, yada yada. As soon as you love, man, this leech in the ass, nigga, all this motherfucker do is come over here and drink and eat and use everything. The whole time, you be the nigga looking out or the girl looking out for everybody. But once you get a chance to be the person who everybody views as somebody who is successful, that's when you see who you really dealing with. The moment you really get on your feet and you don't need certain people, especially the people who want to be let me tell y'all something. A lot of y'all went through a lot of things, right? A lot of y'all went through a lot of things with a lot of people. A lot of y'all were never taught this. It's easier to start disassociating, especially when people show you who they are, before God give you the blessing you pray about. Let me elaborate. When you start hitting certain peaks in life, after you've been the fool and you've played the fool and you've learned your lesson, you will be surprised who is mad at you because they can't take responsibility for your success anymore because you've disassociated. They don't have no ties. They're part of your story. They're not a part of your glory. And you'd be surprised How many of those same people who you thought was loyal, rode for you, had your back, was so inviting, would never down you or belittle you, have the worst to say about you because they're not tied to what everybody respects you for now. That's why it's important to understand when you disassociate from a certain group of people, it's not that you getting away from people that you love, but you clogging the pipeline to people that was flushing out a lot of bullshit and trauma on you and using you as entertainment or had an ulterior motive for you because somebody had already did it to them. And they got stuck, but you found a way out.
Message.
So if you found a way out, stay out. I don't keep giving chances to people who can't acknowledge that they've been given. Sometimes when you disassociate from people, God only give you one chance for it to be a graceful dismount. He only give you one chance sometime for you to leave people and it be peaceful. It ain't much nobody can say on either side. It's just a peaceful dismount. We have an understanding that we don't deal with each other. We don't got a problem. We cool. I love from a distance. But all that running in and out of the circle stuff, that's what it gets you hurt. That's what it gets you hurt. Not knowing when it's your time to leave people alone would cause you more in the end because now you're accumulating something in your life that you had control to stop doing. But it's all about you. It's all about what you want, what you feel. So the moment you start getting treated a certain type of way, this is what a lot of y'all need to understand. Once you keep doing what you want with your life, when you've been told certain things, when people stop caring that really care for you, really was there for you, you've burnt bridges. And you've treated people a certain type of way. And you've handled it a certain type of way for people who haven't proved themselves to you in life. When people stop caring about you suffering, it's all on you now. If you don't got a relationship with the Most High or anything of that nature, you're going to go through some things alone.
Hello.
See, a lot of y'all going to have to start understanding. Look, man. As much as I want things to be the way I want them to be, I got to understand I won't treat it right by people I love. I won't treat it fair by people I trust and love. I did sacrifice and play the fool for people I love and was there for. And more importantly, I was left alone when I cared about everybody. And all I wanted to do was see everybody win.
Shit like that, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that.
And that's to those that really went through that. See, when we talk about trauma, bro, you got to understand, there's a time to shut up. There's a time to not even talk. There's only time to work. There's only time to fight. There's only time to focus. There's only time to find purpose. A lot of y'all are stagnant right now in your 40s and 50s and 60s and mad at somebody who has surpassed you in their 20s or 30s because you don't know how to feel about your own life because you can't accept that the decisions that you made kept you stuck in that tar. The people that you trusted put you out there in that situation for you to lose time. The people that you thought would never backstab you. The people that you thought would never not be there for you. Left you alone and left you to take the fall and made you look like the bad guy or bad girl. All because you couldn't accept. It's time to cut the cord.
Message.
See, in order to end certain traumas, in order to understand what restraint really is, you got to know when to be still. You got to know when not to respond. Even when you feel like a bitch for not doing it.
Message.
Even when you know you really like that and you can really go out here and show niggas what time it is. You got to know when to be silent. Got to know when to not react. You got to understand the power in just being still. See, you want to know the most craziest thing in the streets that a lot of people will tell you who really understand how the streets go? When people have real beef, the smartest people, the real gangsters of the world, they'll let you know this. The moment your opponent thinks you the weakest and you're not a threat no more, that's when you attack. The moment you become irrelevant to everybody who looked at you as something, regardless of what that something is, that's when you strike.
Shit like that.
This is the funny part.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
This ain't the streets we're talking about. This is life. This is the life. This is life. That's what a lot of y'all need to understand. This ain't the streets no more. You don't play like that in the game of life. You don't strike back with vengeance in the game of life, G. You strike back with success. You show them that you just not a jailbird. You show them you not just a junkie. You show them that you not just somebody who lay on their back and make kids and sit around and do dope. And you know what I mean? You show them that you not just a robber or a thief or somebody who only good for neighborhood quick fixes as the neighborhood's local whatever. You show them I can have a nice crib. You show them I can have a nice car. You show them I can have a nice man and woman. You show them I can live a healthy, nice lifestyle. And guess what? None of y'all niggas will know until you fucking see me. That's how the fuck you play the game of life. That's how the fuck you get down on your ops in the game of life, nigga. It ain't all this going out here retaliating with violence, doing all this clown shit on social media, putting your family in jeopardy. If you're a parent, putting your kids in scenarios to have you looking weak amongst thousands or millions because you thought it was cool to go out here and do some clown shit that everybody's going to memorialize as your character who doesn't know you. This is a technology-based world we live in now. So not too many things are going to slide if you slip. Come on now, somebody. You got to be smart. You got to understand right now is the time that you got to snap out of it. You might have been touched. It sucks. It sucks. If you were touched as a child, my heart goes out to you. But you're not that child anymore. You got power. You got choices. You got freedom. You might have did some shit in retaliation to that, or you might have got mentally stuck and couldn't trust people for a while, but guess what? You might not have been the best version of you today, but that's why I love tomorrow.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
You decide who and what you are. Somebody might have dictated what you were in a moment that you couldn't control, but now it's your turn to take back your power. You can't keep treating everybody a certain type of way who didn't cause you that pain, sir or ma'am.
Shit like that.
You
shit
can't.
Like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like
You
that.
can't keep treating men or women a certain type of way because you were mistreated as a child or as a teen or potentially young adult. That's not everybody's ulterior motive towards you, sir or ma'am. You might have been domestically abused as a child, sir or ma'am, but that doesn't mean that you gotta wake up with such a vengeful heart towards people every day, feeling like it's okay for you to go out into the world ready to just be a complete chaotic person who's always TTG about the wrong things. Nobody can have an opinion. Nobody can tell you the truth. Nobody can look at you and try to let you know that some of your behavior and actions are unacceptable without you flying off the handle and you want to be physical. If you don't think that's a problem and you think that makes you real, you really need to evaluate yourself, because I'm telling you, you're the problem. You're the reason why nobody wants to deal with you or help you or do all these things that you feel like you've earned from people, because you're the problem. You get people just close enough for them to see you, for them to turn their back and understand they don't want no parts. Because your attitude sucks, your demeanor sucks, your etiquette on how you treat people sucks, and your heart is still corrupted. You are not healed.
Message.
And you're spreading this virus of a behavior off to other people, and you don't even know it. Some people idolize the crazy behavior because they think they misinterpret it as somebody who don't take shit real, but it's really just a hurt and damaged person who can't identify that that's what they are.
Message.
It's time to start identifying certain shit and calling it what it is. We can't keep letting all these damaged and hurt people go out here and hurt people. These kids are growing up and hurting each other now. When I was growing up, it was few to none you'd hear kids bring weapons in schools.
Bang, 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 bang.
You tell me what's going on. A lot of things start in home, just like trauma does. Wherever a child is placed, if that child's place of dwelling is compromised with violence or any type of missexual etiquette towards a child, misconduct sexually of a child, what you think is this child is going to internalize and normalize as a young adult? A lot of y'all right now, switching gears, have made certain decisions as well as young adults and teenagers, and you went out here and this. I'm gonna throw this out here, man, because I could have been this person. Being promiscuous too early, it causes a lot of trauma. To all of y'all who think it's cool to go out here and just have sex with anybody and do anything while you're young and use that as an excuse, let me tell y'all one thing that is for sure. God willing, you got to get old. And you know one thing that happens when you get old? You have to have a history. And you know what it means when you have a history? People that you meet along the way who have history with you are going to know you for certain things. And young people, let me tell you this. You might not think about your actions today and how they're going to affect 20, 30 years from now. But you better fucking start. You better fucking start understanding how you conduct yourself in this moment affects how people look at you, who will know you 20 to 30 years from now, God willing, you make it that long. And I pray everybody on the side of my voice, they make it 80 years.
Shit like that.
From
Shit
now.
like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
But you got to really start understanding. I understand this YOLO, whatever, but that only applies to certain things that you can construct within your life healthily. You only do certain things once for a reason. Because that's technically what it means. You only live once, yeah, I get it. So you only do certain things once to get the thrill of it out. But a lot of y'all keep repeating cycles and keep putting all these certain things on y'all. A lot of y'all don't understand, a lot of y'all are damaged because all this promiscuity, you don't even understand what sexual spirits are.
Shit like that. Shit like
Young
that.
people.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
A lot of y'all don't understand sex just ain't sex. It's a transfer of energy. See, it's deeper than you. Some of y'all get trauma bonded to certain people who have fucked up and corrupt spirits and all of this and don't understand how that's affecting you. You trying to be a hero to somebody who is probably not the best person.
Message.
Because they can't confront what's hurting them. So they're hurting you. And masking love with sex. You can't keep going out here sharing your body with random people and not knowing who and what they're from. I told y'all ever since this podcast started, my body count is not crazy, G. And it's not because I couldn't get hoes. I'm sex. Let's start there. The big man sex. Pause to the fellas. You know what I mean? I'm outside when I want to be outside. But I got restraint. You understand me? I always have restraint. When I had a child young, I understood then. It ain't no sense of me sharing this. If I did this to one person and I see how she acted, ain't no point of me put myself in this situation twice times. Ain't no way, boy. It ain't no way. See, at the early age, I had to live through traumas that I created. I created myself being a young parent. I created baby mama, baby daddy drama. I created the whole scenario of the baby mama and baby daddy game that comes with you can't see your child if you with this girl. I experienced this at 16, 17, chaps. So that warped my whole mind. I had to be very selective with what I chose to please me and what I allowed to please me.
Shit like that.
See,
Shit
man,
like
you got to
that.
start understanding. As young men, we got to start training these young men. Look, true enough, a woman carries a seed. But who carries the seed? You do, King. You have the power. They lied to us. They lied to us. A woman can't contract this child without a man's seed. And a lot of y'all have foolishly went out and just gave it to people knowing that you weren't ready to deal with the product of that seed. Creating more trauma for not just the person you had the child with, but for the actual child or children. Because you couldn't have control of your own internal issues and only feel good about yourself during sex. That is the only time you feel like you're in control of not just your life, but somebody else. So you manipulate them through sex. And this the funny part. Some people are cool with being manipulated and used, long as they're getting pleased. Not knowing that they're transferring all this bullshit spirit back and forth with somebody who is deeply traumatized by whatever they've experienced in life that makes them a very heartless person at the end of the day. Once they're shown, once they're mad or they can't get their way, or you show them it's not just about them. That's when the domestic abuse may begin. That's when the verbal abuse may begin. That's when you understand this isn't the person you thought it was. And by then it's too late. It's too late. Right now is the time for a lot of y'all to get the chance to sit down and be honest with yourselves. I lost this person. How did that hurt me? How did that affect me? How is my attitude and how I talk to people now? Am I really being myself, or am I giving the world my representative? The people I want, the person I want the world to see. I made some stupid choices. How does that really make me feel? I went out here and gave my body to all these people, and all they did is give me their ass to kiss, or they back to see as they walked out the door. How did that make me feel after realizing that moment meant nothing to them? Which eventually made it mean nothing to me. Because it made me feel like nothing. When are we going to start being real about my mom or dad really fooled me? Really made me believe there was this whole other person when there was a monster behind closed doors. They were really the problem the whole time. I might not have had a relationship with my mom or dad. What role did they really play in that? See, when you start unpacking real things, like, they really said they was my friends. Why would they want to trick me or jam me up? Why would they want to not see me win? Why would they lie to me? Why would they want me to be the fall guy? Why would they want me to be painted out as the bad guy when they already know I'm not on none of that? I'm always the one who try to keep everybody out of everything. I'm always the one who look out and spread love, and I'm paying for everything. Why everybody want to... How did that make you feel when you found out that you was the fool? You was the entertainment. You was the person nobody took serious. You was the person that people only let come around because they had an ulterior motive for you. How did that make you feel? It's time to start being real about real shit. And more importantly, we got to have the restraint to understand it's not worth getting angry about it anymore. It's not worth getting angry about it anymore. We can't sit here and keep acting like everything's okay when it's not. Because the longer you sit there and you suppress something, that doesn't mean you erased it. That just means when you suppress something, it flattens and it expands. And a lot of y'all don't know how much it's expanding inside of you. Pause.
Yikes.
Your man or your woman might keep cheating on you. How is that really making you feel? How is that really making you look? It's time to be real with yourself. If you can't be real with you, why the fuck should anybody else? See, when we first started this little trauma series, I told y'all, I don't write this down. This just be me kicking shit on a freelance tip. I'm gifted. I have a gift of gab. I just know how to go. All this, I think of the topic and I sit here and kick it as I am doing with y'all right now. This is almost like a real conversation, except y'all not responding. I don't have to write down shit when I know it's real. See, that's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people just can't say what they feel and it be taken as what it's supposed to be. I am to be familiarized with because I understand pain. I understand trauma. I understand a fake smile. I understand having to show your representative to people. I understand the unified front. I know what that looks like. But you want to know one thing I had to understand one day? Before I could keep loving people, I got to forgive me. Trusting certain people, loving certain people so hard, and believing everybody was going to do right by me the way I would do right by them. I had to forgive me first before I could forgive them. Because it started with me giving more regardless. And I've met a lot of dope people in my life. I got a lot of dope people still in my life. And I've been through certain things with people. And I don't have a problem with anybody. But you got to be real about shit that hurts you. With family, with friends, with associates, job situations, any type of relationship shit, spouse shit that happens with your kids. Another thing, a lot of y'all as adults got parents. A lot of y'all who are adults are parents and don't understand how much trouble y'all kids gonna fucking cause y'all. Oh shit! Let's talk about that before I get the fuck up out of here. A lot of y'all who are parents are creating some real fucking monsters. Facts. Because you won't tell them no. You won't discipline them. You won't make them understand. The world's not going to tolerate this stupid shit that I tolerate. The world's not going to tolerate this stupid ass behavior that you exemplify. The world's not going to tolerate you speaking out of term to grown folk like they're your peers. A lot of y'all let these kids grow up and let them, they're a free spirit. What they're going to be is an incarcerated spirit. Yeah. See, one thing that got away from society is fucking discipline. I'm not saying you should be beating your child and disciplining your child, hitting them with cords and switches and belts and all of that shit. That's not the way that I'm trying to say everybody should be disciplined. But to those who do, I mean, you go off of what you know. I mean, I can't tell nobody what to do. But I will say this. It shows who has a firmer grasp on discipline and who doesn't. Just know that. It shows who gives a fuck about the future of their children when they leave here right now. To how these kids act when they go out. See, I'll be the first to tell you. I have hyper kids. I have bad kids. It's a difference. My kids are hyper. My kids are like a dog chasing their own tail type shit. Hey, say. That's all I care about. It's the time and the place for it. You be hyper when it doesn't affect how everybody thinks you're being parented. Because little do a lot of y'all know, y'all going out here letting these children find themselves too early. It's going to create way more trauma for them kids because they're going to burn themselves out early, try to do everything that they see grown people do. And by the time they turn 20, 21, if they don't just go ahead and wake up and be something great, they're going to make a mess out of their life. Because everybody's accepted the bullshit they've done this far. And like I said earlier, it hurts when people stop giving a damn about what's important to you and you suffering through some shit because you keep doing the same thing and burning certain bridges with people. It sucks. And a lot of y'all kids gonna find it out the hard way. See, I have a child. My child is older now too, right? And I'll be the first to tell you, I had to let the leash out for her. I'm your father. I'm not a dad for her. I'm a father. So if you don't take my word for it, I'll let you try your hand at the world. Let's see who's right. I'm that type of man. I know I've parented you enough for you to understand what the do's and the don'ts are. But let's see what you choose to do with freedom. See, this is going to be the problem for a lot of y'all.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
A lot of y'all kids have already had so much freedom, they're going to expect the world to be a freedom place when the world has rules. The world has laws. And when I say the world, I'm saying society. See, one thing I don't lie about my kids too is you might not want to abide by the shit that I'm saying now. It don't fucking matter. I get it. Regardless of how old you get, there will be rules and laws you must abide by that I didn't make. And if you can't deal with the rules that I'm giving you, I can only imagine what the fuck the world's going to do to you. So, it hurts when you have to let your children grow the fuck up, when you can't be the one coddling them and saving them and doing all that shit. But you want to know what? Some lessons are best learned early in life. I had to learn that. A lot of my family members who were around my age had to learn that. Peers I've been to school with and all that, we all had to learn that, right? So once you know you've been the type of parent you need to be to your child, you trust their judgment. It only sucks when you can't control the environment or the type of people that they may deal with. But that's life lessons. That's not for you. That's that's personal character growth. That develops a person, conditions a person individually. So all those who may have had to let their children go off and they're trying to figure it out, if you know you've parented that child right, stop being concerned. That child is there. Hopefully that child is covered enough. God has it. It understands what's right, what's wrong. Kids are going to get involved in drinking and drugs from time to time. That's going to happen. You probably did it. Your child ain't no exception. Your child is an image of you in the form. Just because you might have tried to show it a higher echelon of who you are doesn't mean they're not subjective to do certain things that you didn't subject them to.
Message.
So make that very clear. So, let's all understand, before I leave here tonight, a lot of y'all gonna have to let a lot of things go. A lot of y'all gonna have to reset and reboot the whole mental of how you process day-to-day etiquette. Not because it's not just because it's necessary, it's because if you haven't won by now, your mindset is the reason why you're losing. And the things that you hold on to. You might not can get to the next step because you don't know how to let things go. And let me say this. Let me say this to everybody. And this one thing I think somebody needs to fucking hear tonight. Boy, I feel like somebody need to hear this tonight. You don't got to forgive a motherfucking thing or anybody who caused you pain when you didn't cause them any. Let's make that clear. It's the difference between letting things go and forgiveness. You forgive at your leisure.
Message.
I recommend you forgiving so you can fully flush it out. But if you feel like you can't, you can't. It's just that simple. Because sometimes the forgiveness you give people comes with them feeling like they have an interest back in your life and access to you because you forgave them. It's cool to let go, but it's okay if you choose not to forgive, because that's the only way some people gonna understand that they are being held accountable for shit that shouldn't have happened.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
You hear me?
Shit like that. Shit like that.
Okay. I feel like I was really talking to somebody tonight. I don't know who that somebody is. But I felt like I really kicked shit to somebody tonight. Alright, man. I feel like I can sit and talk all night tonight, man. I ain't gonna, you feel me? I ain't gonna run the ticket up but so high, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get off the table, man. Know this, man. Nothing changes unless we do.
Facts.
And once things change, we must accept them for what they are. And once we accept them for what they are, it must come with a renewed mindset of understanding that we must let things go in order to grow. Because once we grow, we flourish into the version of ourselves that we want to see, not people.
Message.
You got the same 24 hours to build, to grow, to gain knowledge, to obtain wealth. None of those hours should be spent on dwelling on things that hurt you anymore. None of those hours should be spent on sitting there figuring out how can you make somebody accept you or love you who doesn't even appreciate you.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
Or has showed you they think less about you than you think less about them. If our cups aren't being poured into equivalently at our big old ages, most of us, sometimes it's best just to walk away from the cup and the table and find a new one. Some of us must leave old circles and find new ones that appreciate us, who will accept and understand the pain that was caused to us and will never compromise a relationship based off just knowing what the person's been through. People who will actually protect you and understand we would never allow this to happen. We got you, baby boy and baby girl. Sometimes the family that you're gifted isn't the family that you leave here knowing. Meaning, you have an option to build outside of the family you were birthed into. If these are the people that cause you pain, you have choices. Long story short, you don't have to deal with certain things and people if you know you can't tolerate or deal with what comes with them or the pain they cause. There's no room for ignorance. There's no room for violence. There's no room for verbal abuse. There's no room for backstabbing and name calling. There's only room for growth.
Message.
On that note, it's been a pleasure. This series, I pray that this series is just as special to y'all as it has been to me. I feel like we closed it on a great chapter tonight. This will be the last episode to this series, so no more trauma talk for now. But I really hope what we get from this particular episode really awakens the greatness inside of you and encourages you to be the better you. Just understand this before I go. It's never just the people closest to you who root for you. It be the people in the stands that barely know you who root for you the hardest once they see a portion of the character that you possess in you. That is just something about you. The people that you closest to will never see you for and how great that you are all the time. That's why it's important to understand. It's people out here in the world who will see you for the amazing, special person that you are.
Message.
And some of them you have to find, and most of the time they find you.
Facts.
But understand, a healthy life of happiness, painless, and just joyful days could be a reality for you if you're just willing to let a lot of that shit go that hurt you or is hurting you. Some things you can't just let go. I get it. Death, that's always going to be with you. But like I said prior, if you love somebody enough to die for them, live for them. Be the version of you that they would have loved to see. On that note, I am Biggie J, the analyst, aka with the big head, you feel me? And this has been a classic. Again, this has been part 4 to Restraint in Trouble. I pray that y'all enjoyed this. I pray that y'all really gather the message from this. I pray that y'all find the healing in these words and really apply them and really align them to what part of life you're in right now. Y'all stay blessed, less stressed, and I'll see y'all in a week and nothing less.